Okay, this is Ringwalk Media in association with Wellness Therapy, Steel Hub Management, and Barclay Carter Racing. We've got the Governor, KALLE SAUERLAND. Nice to see you, sir.
How are you? The governor, that's a new one. I've heard Don Callum. I've never heard the governor Callum. I'll use that. I'll use that. I like that. I like that.
Governor's a good one.
It is. And it sort of suits Bolton, doesn't it? Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Definitely. Well, listen, talking to Bolton, what a card you've got on here.
yeah it's, you know, people said, oh, well, how'd you put the card together? Well, this one was quite easy. We worked out that the date was, well, we worked out after long research, we found out there was a little tournament called the Euros taking place in Germany. And we thought, okay, what's the first game there? It's Scotland versus Germany. Very simple. We've got to get boxing's replica. So we said, what do we have in our stable? We have the European champion. Oh, what? Happens to be German. Right, okay, let's get a tough Scotsman in. Here we go, Macaulay McGowan. There we go. Bob's your uncle. We have got an absolute fantastic main event. We've got Lerone Richards returning, going to be a world champion in the next 12 months. Got Dan Toward. Dan Toward is one of the most, like, people talk about the fighters to watch. Watch Dan Toward. Don't watch him in 6 months. Don't watch him in a year. Watch him now. He's 3-0. 4 fights Saturday, and I'm telling you, this guy within 10 fights will become a European champion. That's what I'm saying. 10 fights.
We've been watching him, and I don't think you're far off the mark with that one.
He's honestly one of the boxers in recent times that I'm most excited about signing. To watch him build him and pull him through. So very, very exciting.
Well, listen, let's have a little chat about young lady to your right-hand side, Ms. Chloe Watson. She's got a warm-up fight, and not an easy one.
No, we've got a big fight on the horizon as well, Maisie Rose. So, which is going to be very interesting.
It's not been quiet, has it?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's, when it's I like one against Eddie. I think it must be. I think we must have done about 30 over the years. I'd like to know what the head-to-head is between us. Be quite interesting to know. Actually, goes back all the way to. Actually, I'm going to take Hay Harrison as well because I had Hay and he had Harrison, so I'm going to go back to that. Or Froch Kessler too. So we've got, over the years,
You're trying to increase your odds.
I am. We're also in the middle of a negotiation, so it's a very hot fight, and we'll see where that ends up.
Well, obviously, you talked about the main event. I mean, Colin McGowan, who will literally fight anyone, but he, in the last couple of fights, has really put in some mature performances, and actually he's probably at his peak right now.
Yeah, and you've got to ask yourself, why is Abbas taking this fight? Because he's waiting on the world title fight. He's number 2 in the world. So you generally would take lesser opponents. At the same time, made it clear to Abbas, you want to headline fights or events, I can't put you against, some journeyman. So it's got to be something tough. Again, there we came up with a Germany one, sort of little bit by chance, I'll admit. But
surely that was planned.
I wish, of course it was.
You phone up Gareth and UEFA.
It was planned, absolutely. No, in fact, we did it. We did Baraou versus McGowan first, and then UEFA decided to put their game the first night, the same as ours. No, look, it's one of those fights. Don't need to ask him about the tactics because it's very simple, right? You've got a guy who's in Abbas Baraou, who is European champion. He's bronze medalist in the amateurs, number 2 in the world, waiting for his world title shot. And on the other hand, you've got Macaulay McGowan, who's a very, very, very tough boxer. Absolutely at European level. We'll find out how much European level he is in him, but we know he's coming to win. Yeah? And he's got this, he's a labourer by day, boxer by night, the Rocky storyline. And you know what the tactic's going to be? He's going to stick it on him. Absolutely stick it on him. So we're going to find out just how slick Abbas is. Eggington as well also stuck it on him. But I've just got the feeling McGowan is really in his, like you said, in his
prime.
It's in his moment. It's in his moment.
We spoke to him last week away from boxing, and he was just saying that as a boy, this is the one you dream of, apart from a British or world title. This is the one. This is the time. I'm not losing this opportunity.
I mean, you mustn't forget it's also live on Channel 5, nationwide audience. Yeah, it's a bit different if you're fighting on an off TV fight or something. He's got this moment. That's what I'm saying. It's like that Rocky moment for him. So it's very exciting.
Well, listen, talk a little bit of that next week, if you don't mind.
That's what boxing should always throw up. That that sort of fantasy storyline.
I agree, and I think there's a few more coming out now. I don't know whether that's because some of the bigger fights are being made over in Saudi and kind of back over here in the UK. Boxers have suddenly realised they've got to take some of these fights to get noticed, and I think maybe that's creating some of these rocky moments.
Yeah, I think also what happens is through the big Saudi shows, it's almost like the level of competition to get onto them for the guys coming through um, is heating up. Simple as that, isn't it? You know.
Well, listen, let's talk about next week's show. Lyndon Arthur.
Return of Lyndon.
What's going on with Lyndon? What's the plan for Lyndon if he comes through this next fight?
Um,
'Cause he's got to be up there again, surely. He's not done, Lyndon. He's got a lot in him.
I fancy Dan Aziz fight. That's a fight I fancy. Yard 3, another good fight. You know, I know they're trying to make Buatsi Yard. Been trying to
I think that's done in the water, that one.
been trying to do that for a rather long time. That hasn't got done. So, but you know, the Dan Aziz fight. I quite like the Dan Aziz fight because Lyndon needs after this wants something to keep him very relevant in the UK because there's some interesting things going on. Whether it's a Buatsi. Um, Buatsi as well. It's another good fight. You know, I do think it's something like that because he's got to get back to that position in the world rankings as well. So at the same time, to be honest, it's professional boxing. We want to earn money. Huh? So what's the biggest fights we can make? Aziz, Buatsi, Yard. You know, simple as that.
Yard 3. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yard 3 would be a banger. Yeah, absolute banger.
They're both different fighters now as well.
Different fight. Like people say, oh, well, has he recovered from his loss to Bivol? I said, well, he didn't lose to Bivol. He learnt from Bivol. Yeah, he lost, but he learnt. The L must be for learn. The question is, how's he done that? Well, we're going to find out next Friday night, live on Channel 5.
You like the live on Channel 5, my friend, don't you?
Yeah, got to get it.
Well, listen, a little bit of Misfits chat, if that's all right.
I just switched the. Yep.
It's turned into mad mode now.
There we go. Mad.
Well, listen, it's good to see Misfits doing well overseas. We haven't seen so many over here in the UK, which I think
Last month we had
one.
So Pappy. No, but you know, we're trying to obviously crack the States. We've done really big numbers with Paige Van Zandt, which was, I guess, to be expected. But that's so yeah. I mean, look, we had such a big year last year, so we thought we'd come storming back now with the big Dublin card.
Can't wait for this.
It's going to be good fun. That's going to be a week of fun.
That's going to be
fun.
Absolute nuts.
Misfits mixed with Dublin. I mean, you cannot make it up.
Who come up with that one?
Yeah, KSI. KSI.
Has he actually been there?
Yeah, he's performed there and sold that venue out 3 times as a rapper. So yeah, he's been there. He loves it. So yeah.
There's a very good influencer marketplace out there.
We had the O2, we had Manchester Arena or Carberry. I can't remember which one.
Co-op one.
Or Dublin. It was the 3. We had a choice. Choice of the 3. It was going to be UK or Ireland card. We wanted to be this part of the world. And he said, Dublin, man, let's roll it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, we're all right with that.
I am over the moon with that. I've done Manchester and London. No disrespect. You know, I am a Londoner and I love Manchester. But Dublin, man, I've never done a show in Dublin before. Brilliant.
We cannot wait for this. Actually, what's the undercard going to be like? Are you going to have a few names on there?
Well, in Misfits language, we don't really do undercards. We just got a show because even the first fight, they've probably got about 55 million followers between them, so they're all superstars. So you can't really say if I tell them, "Well, you're going on first on the undercard," then whoa, that don't work. So it's we've got to yeah. No, it's gonna be super exciting.
Listen, one more for me, and then we'll let you go because I know you're busy. I want to just pop back to Chloe Watson, if that's all right.
Yeah,
Look, she's been a bit frustrated. There's been a couple of dates, and it hasn't worked out for whatever reason. We're not going to go into all that because we all know what's going on. But if they fight in September and Chloe comes through that fight, is the next step a world title for her? Because she's at that level, isn't she?
but that's the fight that goes to the world title, isn't it? That's the one. Um, I do think that it will also benefit to work between two promoters on that show because you'll have Matchroom in the other corner, us in the other corner, and I think that will help as well. Um, you know that's that spark it needs. We talk about male and female boxing, but there is still a big difference. And the, I've promoted female boxing for over 10 years. To see a Breku's back in the day, took her to full world to unified world champions. I know that game since many years, and it is a different game to the men's game. And you need those moments. You need everything, she's such a talent, and that's something that she's going to get that moment. But it's tougher. It is tougher, but she is made of absolute steel. Looking forward to it.
Jason Quigley described her as a mini Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, well, I mean, she does. She does.
Not for the Guinness drinking, but for the body punching.
Never seen Chloe on the Guinness. Yeah, yeah, no, could be. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. I mean, I like also the way she's developed. I mean, she's been with us since the beginning, and the way she's developed from fight to fight is also fantastic to see.
Well, listen, I know you're busy. Got a few things to do, haven't you? And another show next week to chat to you about. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you on Fight Night.
Thanks very much.
Live on Channel 5.
Live on Channel 5.
Thanks, Calla.